Hey, what's going on, everybody? So, just want to cover. We know we have the Cincinnati Bengals matchup coming this Sunday. We're coming off an extremely tough game versus the Patriots, but there are numerous silver linings, if you dig deep enough. But in the midst of all the funk and depression for the New York Jets offense, we have so many bright spots on the defense. Now, again, we did just get crushed to the tune of 54 points, but overall, I mean, even some of the greatest defenses that had the bend but don't break mentality, which I'm not saying we're in that upper echelon, but we're definitely average above average. And if the offense catches up to speed, we could, a year from now, 2 years, be elite for sure. But one of the players that a lot of people have started to catch on to around the league is Bryce Hall. So he's our number one cornerback for the season, of course. But lost in the sauce is how well he's actually performed over the course of the season so far. He's kind of gotten slack, I would say, a little bit in some of the league circles about some of the talent that he's actually faced. But overall, again, you can't you can't control who you're going to match up against. So I wanted to talk about him potentially solidifying himself as a high-end potential number one cornerback based on his matchup this week, unless something crazy happens. So with Cincinnati coming to town, we have the prodigious rookie Jamar Chase coming in. And Jamar Chase has been pretty much shredding the league so far. Everybody had the the Butterfingers catchphrases, numerous other things that are going on now. Preseason aside, preseason included, he definitely had a lot of drops that were going on. I always try to keep in mind, though, that, if there's a time to experiment, it's going to be then. Obviously, you want to put your best foot forward, but round one rookies always have a lot more leeway, I would say, for 90% of coaching staffs around the league in order to kind of experiment, do different things, get that acclimation period going. Yes, they want instant production, but ultimately the preseason, isn't going to be this end all be all for somebody that's, basically guaranteed a roster spot. The regular season comes and, what are we saying? Seven weeks in, he's putting everybody on notice. He's shredding things. He might be able to break the record that his fellow LSU buddy Jefferson just broke, the year before. So he's already at 754 yards. We're not even at the halfway mark. We're really just eclipsing, the third, I guess. 17 games in, we've just barely finished a third of the games on the slate. So 35 receptions, almost 800 yards. He has 6 touchdowns already. And I was kind of taking a look at some breakdowns for him, and it's crazy because he's actually he's getting like 21.5 yards per reception, which is a crazy clip to keep up. And if he does that the entire season, he could potentially break the 2,000-yard mark by quite a bit. So he's definitely been having that connection with Joe Burrows pretty often in the regular season. So there's no reason to think that, he'll have an off game and stuff just based on recent production. I mean, he's even just coming off of a 200-yard performance. Now, flipping modes. And by the way, Jamar Chase, I believe, based on PFF, is ranked the number one wide receiver in the league, which is crazy for a rookie. But needless to say, we have those kind of mold breakers. That's more predictable than anything on the defensive side. But when we take a look at Bryce Hall, I believe he's the 37th ranked cornerback. So if we take that ranking as legit, that means he's a high-end number 2. Now, again, he's faced some tough challenges when you kind of put things in perspective. Let's say the Bengals are throwing themselves out of a lot of potential losses, whereas the Jets are having to utilize the defense just to try to get the offense enough opportunities to catch up. So it's really like a very bipolar kind of situation going on. Now, this game can get really out of hand, I think, if Mac Jones and that offense can put up 54 points on us. The electric Jamar Chase, Tyler Boyd. I can't remember the exact pronunciation of the tight end, but CJ Uzumawa, something to that effect. I almost want to call him Uzumaki, but it could get really scary really quick. But the one thing I'm looking forward to is if Bryce Hall can somewhat mitigate or even negate Jamar Chase, I think that's the biggest confidence booster we can have, not only for Bryce Hall himself, but for us as fans and definitely the coaching staff to feel confident that we definitely have a long-term number one on our hands. Worst case scenario, though, if he is a high-end number two, we've struggled to find that ever since even before Revis. You can argue maybe Antonio Cromartie, who came in. He definitely had some very successful years, but it was very much so touch and go because he was very much so a risk taker. He wasn't more so able to negate people like Revis was, but he was definitely able to make those flashy plays. But Bryce Hall so far has had a pretty solid season. 6 pass deflections. I know he got in for a half sack, and then he's done very well getting in the backfield a bit, just as well as kind of limiting how much damage opponents are creating. So I really hope he stands out in this game. I think everything on paper, stat-wise, the eyeball test points to Jamar Chase having another crazy game. But if we don't leave him on the island, because again, it's not like we're playing pure man covers, but if Bryce Hall shows out this game, I definitely think that might be the turning point for his career and potentially what happens with this defense as maybe they mold some more man concepts into there. But, there's a lot of players that stand out. Definitely looking forward to speaking about that in some future videos. But let me know what you guys think about the matchup, who you think potentially is going to be the X factor, maybe on the offense and defense if it's not one of those two. But greatly looking forward to it. I hope Bryce Hall comes out of that game, chest up, head held high, and fingers crossed that we get ourselves our second W for the season with Mike White starting. But other than that, I'll catch up with you guys again. Peace.